When my son Nathan Eisert was asked to walk on to Western Kentucky University's basketball team in the summer of 2000, I thought how fortunate he was. What a wonderful opportunity. As a mom about to send her firstborn off to college, I thought how fortunate I was that I knew my son would be surrounded by the safety net of people, coaches and trainers and teammates. In his freshman year, he was allowed to play in a number of games. He got a few minutes here, a few minutes there, made some three-pointers, and he made honor roll. That summer, he didn't even hardly want to stray away from the gym because he didn't want to lose his conditioning and training. So he stuck by the gym, and he was always there all summer long, just working out and right there, and the coaches could see that. That summer, Nathan was offered a one-year scholarship. That very same night, he re-injured an ankle that he'd broken 2 years before. At the hospital, the doctors told him that he would have been better off if he had broken it, and that it would take at least a year to heal. His sophomore year was very different from his freshman year. He had trouble with his grades. He was in a lot of pain. He didn't get any playing time. But when I would ask him, are you still happy there? Are you still enjoying what you do? Do you want to play basketball still? He'd say, don't worry about me, Mom. I'm okay. But Nathan wasn't okay. He was dealing with unrecognized and untreated depression. At the end of the summer of that year, he was released from the team. 5 weeks later, on June 8, 2002, Nathan took his life with a gun in his dorm room. Nathan hadn't talked to us about his own depression, but he talked to us about what he saw in other players, substance abuse issues, depression among another injured athlete, and the pain of someone being really far away from home. Maybe he was trying to get our attention about his own problems, or maybe he was trying to give us just a glimpse into a little bit of college athletic life.
Hi, I'm Steve Ulrich, and I'm Nathan's stepdad. Funny word, stepdad, huh? Nathan's the son. Nathan is my son. You know, when I think back on what I've learned since his death, the hardest words for me is that when I talk to the people in the medical community, is that suicide is preventable, curable, and treatable. And those have been really biting words because I didn't know anything about it. And depression, suicide is what happened to other families. In fact, for us, it was really tough because we didn't find out that Nathan was released from the team until 2 days after his death.
Several months after Nathan died, another Western Kentucky University student athlete attempted suicide. She lived. But I found out a little more about what it's like to be a college athlete, why they don't find it easy to reach out for help. She said, they tell us every day that we're supposed to be mentally tough, and we know that to admit any kind of weakness will get us kicked off the team. My husband, my parents, and I got involved in suicide prevention and advocacy within our state of Kentucky. But I always felt like I had to do something more. I heard about the Baylor student who was murdered by his own teammate who had been released from the team. And then I heard about another student from New Mexico, a basketball player, who died by suicide. And I thought, I'm going to have to be the one that says, let's take a look at what's happening in college athletics. I contacted Mary Wilford on the Health and Safety Committee of the NCAA. I told her what I'd gone through. I told her about the loss of my son, and I told her about my concerns. I talked to her about the Air Force and how when they decided that even one death by suicide was too many, they changed the way Air Force deals with mental health issues and suicide, and they dramatically reduced their suicide rate over a 6-year period. They made better access to mental health care. They made awareness and prevention known and out there. And they made it okay to ask for help, even honorable to ask for help. And they made it to where you are your brother's keeper, that they would look out for each other. And I didn't think the NCAA would want to do anything less. Mary Wilford took this back to a meeting and came back in November and said that the NCAA was committed to taking action on this issue. And that's part of why we're here today.
I've got a friend of mine that works with me, a young man that works for the USAR auto racing. He was a pitcher on a Georgia Tech team, and he had a lot of promise. And he injured himself. He became injured and he couldn't play. And so he was released from the team. Well, he was sitting in his dorm room. He told me he was sitting in his dorm room. He had made up his mind that life was over for him. He was going to take his life that night. And then that afternoon, one of the assistant coaches happened to come by the room, and they asked Bobby, they said, "Bobby, how you doing?" Bobby said, "I was kind of despondent," and said, "I'm okay." And the coach asked me, he said, "What are you planning on doing now that you can't play baseball?" And he said, "I don't know." And he said, "Well, have you ever thought about going into marketing? Have you ever thought about going into coaching? Have you ever?" He just started laying out so many different thoughts and so many things in this young man's head. And he talked to him a little bit about auto racing, knew he loved auto racing. Well, Bobby's head of marketing today for an auto racing group. But if that coach hadn't come by when he did, Bobby wouldn't have been here today. That sort of holds true with me. Somebody would have just been able to reach out and say, "Where are you going to go, son?"
It's too late to save Nathan's life or Billy's life. But there's other college athletes out there right now who need your help, who need that hand reaching out to them, who need to know that it's okay, it's even honorable to ask for help. And they need to know that when they ask for help, they're going to get it. They're not going to lose their place on the team, that they're going to have that safety net surrounding them that Nathan didn't have.
Tell them, Mama, tell them not to follow in my shoes. Tell them, Mama, tell them life's too much to lose. Tell them, Mama, tell them not to follow in my shoes. Tell them, Mama, tell them life's too much to lose. If I could do it all again, Mama, I'd choose to live. If I could do it all again, Mama, I'd choose to live. I'm 21